Here you go. All right. So can you first start off by telling us your name, year, and major?
I'm Khloe Quill. I'm a sophomore, and currently I'm undecided, but I'm hoping to declare journalism next semester.
Sounds good. And can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Oh, yeah. So I actually transferred here halfway through my freshman year from a different university called Duquesne, and I was originally in an accelerated doctorate program, and it was physical therapy. And I decided that wasn't for me because I'm really bad at biology, and I transferred here to do journalism instead because I like writing. Got 3 cats. They're really cool, and I rescued all of them without my parents' permission. See, right now I just did this job interview thing for my theater class, and I realized in that mock job interview that when I worked at Blaze Pizza on Route 1, and I realized that I didn't know how to job interview because I went to the Blaze Pizza interview and he said, "Tell me about yourself." And in a professional interview, you're supposed to be like, "Oh, I'm a real team player." But I looked my current boss in the eye and I was like, "Well, I love cats." And I still got the job, which kind of shows you just how desperate Blaze Pizza is. Sorry, Blaze, love you. But I actually ended up acing the mock interview, whatever. But anyway, I'm assuming this is more casual. So continuing on with the cats. Not actually. I'm not going to continue on with the cats. We don't need that. I write a lot. I write a short story every day because I gotta keep it up. I used to be really athletic. I played volleyball for a while, but then I stopped because I wanted to do theater instead. I'm also a theater kid. Yay! It's kind of sad because UMD doesn't really have a theater program. So, but I'm taking that. The interview thing that I was just talking about was for a theater class that I'm taking, so that's nice. And I've kind of finally started to come into myself at UMD because it took a while, because transferring in as a freshman halfway through onto the south side of campus where there are no other freshmen can be really isolating.
So what do you write your short stories about?
Oh, lots of things, mostly horror. I love horror. I'm like a slut for Stephen King. Am I allowed to say slut?
Yes.
Cool, I'm a slut for Stephen King. So recently, the last thing I wrote that I was really proud of was 3 years ago because, when you do art, nothing's ever correct. It's always bad. Everything I write is bad, but it's only getting better. And that was about people colonizing Mars and then not realizing that everyone was running really inhumane tests on them. It was really good. Very popular with my writing teacher in junior year of high school. Anyway, I just wrote a story about a demon who unhinged her jaw and ate people because she had anxiety. I like to deal with human fears too, just real life things. That's all I write about basically.
How familiar are you with the game of Survivor?
So, I used to watch Survivor with my grandmother, and my only memory that really stuck with me was this guy had to eat a bat, and I was a really picky eater as a kid, so I kind of threw up in my mouth a little bit, and I was like, "Ugh, Grandma, please." My grandma was weird. We also used to watch true crime, and I was 4, 5. She was just like, "Oh yeah, look at this baby's body in a box, Khloe, isn't that neat?" And I'm like, "Thanks, Grandma." But I did watch Survivor, and I know that it's there has to be one. And I also watched Total Drama Island, so, I'm basically an expert. Yeah.
Name a time when you had to use someone else to get ahead.
Well, so I did this thing in high school. The screen went blank. Is that okay?
Yeah. Let me just double check it's on. But if it does again, it should be fine.
Cool.
Yep, we're good.
So this is, I guess I'm just going to confess to this. They did this thing in high school where I'd go after the lead men so I could move up in theater. And it always worked because I don't normally look like this. Normally, throw on a V-neck, do a little push-up bra, put my hair down, I could get it. So, senior year, I had just broken up with a boyfriend who actually was the lead in the last year's play, or musical, and there was this new guy, and he was really hot, and I was like, ooh, okay, this could work both ways, hey, baby. And he played Romeo in our version of Romeo and Juliet Choose Your Own Ending, which I was stage managing, and I was like, you know what I could do as a power move? I could get with this guy. And I did, and that was it. I looked at my cast, and I was like, hey, this new guy, we're gonna date. And we did. And then I ended up dating the guy who was in the lead at a different school's production of something else. Yeah, I kind of have a thing for him. What can I say?
So now, can you name a time when you had to use strategy in a game or on a team? You just had to like think.
Fourth grade. I won the Challenge 24 championship. And I think that was the last time I won something. I'm just kidding. No. What can I say? I barreled through those other fourth graders. They had nothing on me. I used my wits, my intelligence, my speed. It was like slam, slam, slam. I don't know if you're familiar with Challenge 24. Really?
What is it?
It's like when you have to make 24 out of 4 numbers.
Out of 4
it's
numbers.
hard.
It's
Oh,
hard to
and
know.
you can like plus, minus,
Yeah.
divide.
I
Okay.
was
The
genius.
basic
I was like
operation.
boom, 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 boom. And then there was this kid. He actually goes here.
What's his
Ethan
name?
Ebert Zavos.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, oh, wait. No, that was in fourth grade. But I feel like he was there, and I learned about it in middle school once he became my sworn enemy. Because we were in sixth grade English class, and our teacher, Miss Phillips, like would pit us against each other because we were the two smartest kids in the room. She'd be like, oh, Ethan, are you going to one-up Khloe today? And it like was very unhealthy. Like I was like, okay, Miss Phillips, like just pit us against each other. How old are you in sixth grade? Like 11? We were like 11-year-olds, like ready to fight to the death over Miss Phillips's.
What if he was in Survivor? How would you feel?
I'd take that bitch down. But that's all I have to say about that because, we both ended up here, so I guess the challenge is still going.
Did he like cheat at 24 or something?
Oh no, he was just as smart as me, and
Okay.
that was a threat.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had to eliminate it.
Did you kill
Just
him?
kidding, Ethan. Love you.
How do you like envision yourself as a player in Survivor?
Well, you see, I feel like a lot of players, there's a target, and they're arrows, they draw back and they like whip through to the target, and they like bullseye. Me, I'm more of a wrecking ball. Just let me loose and I'll cause as much damage as I can in the process of getting to the target, and hopefully I'll hit it, probably smash it to pieces, but goddamn I'll get there,
It's good to hear.
I think that's who I am as a player, just like a hurricane of a person.
So you think, so if you like see the target and like the other people want to point their arrows somewhere else, will you try to be a wrecking ball and hit all the arrows in the process and go to your target?
Yes,
Okay.
just absolutely knock everyone else out. I'm getting there by whatever means necessary.
Sounds good. So what do you think, as your wrecking ball hurricane self, what would your strengths and weaknesses be?
Okay, definitely that I'm pretty much willing to do anything at any given time. Like, I'm at least back when like I had like a large group of friends, I was the kind of person that they were like, hey Khloe, you know what you should do? Jump into that dumpster. And I would, just, for the giggles. And I had like this best friend in high school, and his name was Zab. And we would just like dare each other to do dumb shit, like scream in the middle of class. I realize now, speaking out loud, that was obnoxious. But at the time, it was like I was invincible. Like no one could stop me. I don't even remember what the question was, but I'm just gonna keep going on this. Like I don't give a shit about anything rant, because I used to just not wear shoes or pants to high school. I would wear spandex and a large t-shirt, and I would just walk in socks because I didn't care. And sometimes I would just like show up wrapped in a blanket, and I would just wander the halls. And my sister is still in my high school, and she's like, people still talk about you. I can't tell if they're like in awe or they're super worried about where you've ended up. But I'm like, probably the first one. I was kind of a legend, really.
Okay, well, going back to the question. So what would your strengths and weaknesses be as a player?
Oh yeah. So my weaknesses, I'm bad at math. I think that's a weakness, probably.
For Survivor.
Yeah.
I
I
thought you just
have
said
I
you're the
just
24
24.
champion.
You a liar?
Yeah, but then I got sad and my brain stopped working right. Anyway, I'm now bad at math. Challenge 24 is a different thing. That was all strategy. That was all wits and logic. And now I'm in economics, and it makes me sad all the time. But I guess I also really like people, and like I'm not always willing to be mean to them. But sometimes I just like black out, and it's like, wow, I look back at the trail of devastation I left behind, and I'm like, wow, But like most of the time, when I'm in the right state of mind, I care very much about other people, and I'm like, oh no, like I wonder how that would make someone else feel. But like if that involves crushing people, I suppose I can combat that. Like after they're defeated, I can like take them out for coffee and be like, you were so good. I definitely didn't vote you off. That was so sad. Who would do that to you? Because like I wouldn't. Meanwhile, I'm like sitting in the confessional, like, yeah, that bitch is going down. Bye, Nancy. I hope there's not actually anyone named Nancy. Anyway.
Doesn't matter.
So your weakness is math.
But my weakness is math and empathy. And my strengths are I will stop at nothing to get what I want. One time there was like a Victoria's Secret leggings like for free across campus, and I was in these heels and I sprinted across from like South Campus Commons to like the Eppley Recreation Center to get these leggings. That was like a lot of exercise at once.
Have you ever Black Friday shopped at midnight and had something that you wanted and just rolled?
This lady was trying to get into the spot, so I jumped out of the car and I laid down face first on the spot. It was like, if you want this spot, bitch, you're gonna have to kill me first.
You actually did it?
Yeah, 100%.
It's really funny, but you're still here today. So
That bitch. She
didn't
kind of
know.
looked at me and she's like, and I was like, yeah, fuck you. Run me over.
Well, going off of that, how do you work in groups?
Really well. I like to think of myself as a leader.
Awesome.
Yeah, I like to take charge if no one else will, but if someone else is, like, I'll back off, whatever is most efficient.
Lay in a parking spot, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's the quality a leader should have. Just willing to lay down their
Willing
life
to
for
die.
Black Friday.
It would be like that.
So how would your friends describe you?
Maddie, how?
Oh, we're not friends.
Not friends is how they
Not
describe. Probably funny and loud and weird. Friendly. I know how to start a conversation and probably don't know how to end a conversation.
That's true. The first time we ever talked, I was standing and she was sitting, and we made eye contact, and then
Boom,
she
that was
started
it.
talking.
It's like target acquired.
The wrecking, nothing's gonna stop the wrecking ball from hitting the target.
Yeah, she was the target, and in that moment I was like, Maddie!
Those are all good adjectives.
That's
Yeah,
all good.
I feel
I was happy with that.
Like approved.
Yeah, that's all that matters, right? So what's your most embarrassing moment?
Hang on, I gotta spin around for this one. The time I almost died deep throating a banana to show my sister how to give a blowjob. My headphones are. Have I ever told you this?
No.
Really? Because that's like one of my opening lines.
Let me just make sure the camera's still on.
Did you get my password?
Are we still good?
I didn't know
Okay,
you were
wait, this is a good story.
What's name was?
Yes, you did.
So, I was the ripe age of 16. I just had my first boyfriend, and I had just given my first blowjob. And I'm pretty sure I had a big dick. I can't really remember, but I'm pretty sure it was at least like 7, 8 inches, whatever. No big. And I realized that I had no gag reflex, and I was very proud of this because I was like, oh yeah, I can suck dick. And my boyfriend at the time was like, oh god, you're so good at this. And I'm like, it's my first time. So I got home that night, and my sister, who at the time was 13, I think, she was in middle school, and I run into our shared bathroom and I'm like, Campbell, you'll never guess what, I suck dick. She's like so tired, she's like washing her face, getting ready for bed, because like at that point she was just in middle school, and she's like, oh good, that's really nice. That's nice, Chloe. Can I go to bed? And I'm like, no, wait, I gotta show you in case you ever need it. Turns out my sister's a lesbian and really just didn't care at all about me sucking dick. She's like, okay. So I run downstairs and I grab a banana and I come back and I'm like, okay, Campbell, watch this. And she's like, you're a fucking idiot. And I'm like, let's just. So I shove the banana all the way down my throat because it's true, I don't have any gag reflex. And she's like, okay, that's pretty impressive, whatever. And I go to pull it out, and the banana breaks off in my throat. And she's like, no. And I'm like, ugh. And she's like, no, you fucking didn't. And I'm like, bleh, bleh. And I collapse to the floor, and I start crying, and she starts crying. She's like, Chloe, if you die right now, I'm gonna have to tell Mom that you died trying to like deep throat a banana. And I'm like, on the floor, and she's like, you're a sinner, and I'm sit on the floor. She's like, you're such a stupid whore. And I'm like, thanks, Cam.
Oh, that was a really good story.
That's it. That was fun.
That's it.
me.
No big deal.
No, you
How
never
did you get the
mentioned
banana dislodged?
God himself. I don't really know. I think in that moment, God looked down at me and he's like, I don't want to do this, but you've got bigger plans ahead of you, so I'm going to have to anyway. That's it. That's, my sister and I have a great relationship.
Alright, well,
that.
moving on from that.
No, you never mentioned that story.
Yeah, it's really,
It's a really funny story.
thank you. I have a lot of those where I just make mistakes, and then they're funny.
It's just funny that she felt the need to like get a banana.
I just really wanted to show her. I retold that story at my old university, and that's how I made a lot of my friends. Actually, I should really use that more often.
Do it.
But I got a banana again to show them at my old university. And I was like, guys, look, hopefully it doesn't break this time. It didn't break, but like, what compelled me to do that? I told you, sometimes I just black out, and I look back and I'm like, I guess I did do that. Wow. Like, you know that self-preservation instinct that most people have?
It's my turn.
Okay.
Sorry, 10.
What types of people do you not get along with?
I'm trying to think of anyone I've really not gotten. Okay, so recently I posted this story on my Instagram that was basically like, I get back into therapy like next month. Until then, like, how would you suggest hanging on? Like, hanging in there for finals week. And this bitch, and I met him once. No, okay, it's a long story. This guy, I'm not going to name his name because
Was it Ethan?
No, God no, I love Ethan. Ethan wouldn't do this to me. Ethan would never. But this dude, let's call him George. George, like, keeps trying to befriend me, and I'm not about it. And sometimes I'll, like, drop. Because, like, I've learned at UMD that if you seem available, like, boys will, like, you know, the usual. So, like, normally I'll drop, like, oh, I have a boyfriend, like, the first couple conversations with the dude I have. And I told George that, and he just keeps, like, wanting to be my friend, I guess, but in a really weird way. Like, he'll just text me, and I won't respond, and he just keeps texting. Anyway, I posted that question on my Instagram. I was like, hey, how do I hang in there? He uses this as an opportunity to say, how was your Thanksgiving break? After I removed him from all other social media, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, and sometimes I'll just see him at the dining hall, and I'm already eating with someone, and he'll just walk over and be like, hi, Khloe, and like wait for me to invite him to sit down, but I just can't because he's so aggressive in his pursuit of me that I just don't want to be around him. So really, that's it. Just aggressive.
George.
So just George.
George.
Just
Just
aggressive
George.
men.
Yeah, just super aggressive men.
All right. Okay. So, going off of that, what are you also involved in on campus? Let's say, like, what will you involved in next semester? What is your time commitment like to Survivor?
Oh, okay. I thought we were gonna like judge how like extracurricular I am, and then I heard like elevator music because I don't have a lot of things going on. I work at Blaze Pizza and I have class, and that's pretty much it.
So you have time that you'll be able to commit
Yeah,
to
I
Survivor?
do. Lots of time.
That sounds great. And then, what do you hope to like get out of this experience, basically?
Would it be sad to say friends?
That's a good, very common thing.
Friends! Something to do in my free time. Teamwork! Thank you, that's it. That's enrichment.
Solid. And then, why do we need to cast you? Like, what will you bring to the table that the other people that we're interviewing
I mean, I
do
think you
not?
laughed so hard you were in tears. Why wouldn't you cast me at this point? But you definitely need to cast me because I'm super funny. I'll get you views. Don't worry. I'll also look at this face. At this point, zoom in on my face. If you're editing this video later, zoom in and like maybe Facetune it a little bit. Look at this face. That's it.
Do you have any more questions?
Oh,
That's like it.
Oh,
I don't know if you have any other like questions for me.
No, I don't.
Let me see. I might have one.
Okay.
Do you see yourself playing as like a hero or like a villain? Like, are you willing to lie? Are you gonna be honest all the time? Like, what is your kind of strategy?
I mean, I'm down with lying. It's more like if you ask me to do something, I'll be like, yeah, but I know that you like don't ask me to do something. Everyone like falls into their own roles. So I don't know. I feel like most people want to play the hero, so I can play the villain. I can play a really nasty one at that. I can lie, cheat, manipulate. Yeah, that sounds good. Well, actually, it's all in good fun. Yeah, they'll be friends with me anyway. They'll be like, wow, she's so cunning.
Okay,
Like,
you
yeah.
can manipulate and still be friends. I can attest to that.
Okay, cool.
Who do you think, like, between us, which one was the hero and which one was the villain?
Between you two,
Yeah.
I feel like you were both Hufflepuffs. Does that make sense?
That's not an option.
Yeah.
This is the most important question.
I know. That's why I'm taking my time to think about it. Really,
Deeply.
weigh my birds. What? There's something like.
It was a
Like-
bird.
I feel like you were kind of a villain, but like you were a sweetheart, so people didn't expect you to be a villain. They were like, "Oh, Maddie," and then you just kind of. I don't know you, Doug. What kind of mysteries do you hide behind those eyes, Doug? I'd like to think you were a hero, but maybe this game turns us all into villains.
Pretty much, honestly.
Yeah, was that a good answer?
I'll accept it. I'll accept it.
Doug's a snake.
Yeah, I am. I do a lot of lying, but that's okay. In the game.
In the game.
You both have really trustworthy faces. You
Really?
could lie to a lot of people.
Yeah, that's why it works.
I mean, I got voted off, but it's fine.
Can you tell me a lie right now? Like, just about literally anything, just convince of a story. I might ask you a few questions about it, like.
Oh, jeez. Okay. So, the boyfriend I had before everything was, his name was Johnny, and he was the guy who took my virginity, and it was really unpleasant, to be completely honest with you guys. And it was a really rocky relationship because he was older than me, and I was not comfortable with a lot of the things we did.
How much older was he?
3 years, which isn't a lot in college, but it's a lot in high school. And we broke up in December, which sucked. He broke up with me over the phone because he was in college. And after we broke up, I missed my period one week. And then I realized I was pregnant. And I was terrified because we had broken up and I didn't know what to do. But it ended up miscarrying. So.
That was good.
Thanks.
Yeah, wow,
Yeah.
that was like a little too real.
Was that a good lie?
I was invested.
I was invested too. I was like, where's this gonna end?
I
This
thought
rocky
it was gonna be,
relationship.
like the deep throat story.
Yeah.
No, I figured the lie would be funnier
That was
if
good.
it was sad.
Alright, I'm gonna turn it off now and now. So now all that's left is basically like if you have any questions.